Hi, my name is Sam Led, and welcome to The Fearless Now. This is for you, and you in the nosebleed seats if you're looking for an easier way to approach anxiety, stress, and unhealthy habits from the inside out. There's no techniques and no strategies, so sit back, relax, and let me be your peace of mind Uber driver here on The Fearless Now. Welcome to The Fearless Now podcast. My name is Sam Led. I'm a transformation coach. And it is such an honor and a privilege to be here for you guys, for you in the nosebleed seats. And I'm so excited that we've made it to episode number 10. I knew we would. And it's been a wonderful journey so far. And I just want to thank you for all your positive feedback. I'm glad I've been able to share these 3 principles of mind, thought, and consciousness as discovered by that wonderful Scottish mystic, Sid Banks, who really changed my life, these principles. And I hope that I can share these truths, these spiritual truths, but these truths, I call them, that will truly make you see beyond your thought turbulence, your insecure thinking, that you are so far beyond that momentary and illusory projector playing some negative and heavy drama-filled soap operas in your head. I really do. And get you out of your own way. By me sharing this with you, it's actually helpful to me because I discover new insights every day about my life and about where my thinking's going. And there's nothing to change within you, nothing to fix. Every day is another day to see how amazing you are, how talented you are, and how capable you are. Once you see that your temporary anxiety, your temporary insecure thinking, your low mood is just not you. You don't have ownership of those thoughts. That is not you. It's just the mind processing all of that thought energy and letting it move through you. Which leads me to my topic today. And I came across this topic, a virus called insecure thought, from this really well-made and well-done Netflix horror movie called The Haunting of Bly Manor that my partner and I were watching. We were Netflix and binging with ice cream cookies and pizza. It was wonderful and disgusting at the same time because we both had belly aches after eating ice cream cookies and pizza. You got to do it. You got to do it once in a while. And so in this Netflix horror flick, it was really morbid and scary. The main characters were basically being hunted by this ghost, homicidal ghost that was killing off the characters that were stuck in this manor, that worked at the manor, this gorgeous British manor in the English countryside. And it was really interesting. During parts of the show, the series, every character would repeat a scene, go back to an old scene in the show. And initially, as the viewer, you wouldn't know really what was going on. It was very uncomfortable because a scene would repeat over and over and over again. And then you began to see that it was the character's memory. The character would start going to these dream sequences where one of the characters called it being tucked away in an old memory. Some of the memories were great. Some characters had wonderful old memories that when something happened to them in this old 18th century manner, they would be tucked away. They would go back to a better time in their life or a better conversation they had or a better memory. And then other characters would get tucked away in terrible, nightmarish old traumas and memories. One of the characters would go back to a scene that he would be talking to his dead mother who was abusive and whose family was abusive. It was very uncomfortable to watch, but it reminded me, it was great fodder, great material for today's episode, that being tucked away in thought is the same thing as these characters experiencing being tucked away in these memories that haunted them or gave them pleasure. We all do it. We all get tucked away. We all get bogged down in some pretty insecure memories, insecure thought when we are faced with a situation in our external world that's causing us stress, that's causing us discomfort, fear, anxiety. And then that tape recorder in our mind tucks us away in an old memory that maybe wasn't that pleasant. And when we use this gift of thought of thinking, we're able to see that insecure thought like a virus program that's been pre-installed into our operating system, maybe through, who knows? Some of us don't even know, subconscious conditioning. Habitual thought is created that way through these old viral programs running in our head. It's kind of like an old projector projecting a memory that is then influencing our decisions and influencing how we perceive the world and how we perceive others. when we don't really see it as insecure thought sometimes. It's very insidious, and that's what being tucked away is all about. This wonderful and scary show on Netflix, I saw it for myself, how I got tucked away, how I get tucked away in my own insecure thinking. When I do these episodes, when I don't think I'm doing my best I can, or when I'm working with clients, we get tucked away in those old memories of failure, of trauma. The recorder or the cassette recorder all of a sudden hits play, and then we're tucked away in this old moment. I remember being, old job interviews, the same thing, failure, insecurity. But once we see it's a kind of like a virus that's invading our operating system very innocently, kind of like a computer virus. Sometimes we download something by mistake and it ends up corrupting our hard drive. It's a virus. Or think of the flu virus or COVID. It's not there forever. And some of us, when we download a virus onto our laptop, we need to take the laptop in for service to get rid of that virus. But eventually the virus goes away. And that's an extreme example. Sometimes what's going on with the pandemic is some people have to be hospitalized. Most people get better. Most people get better from this virus. The same thing with our thought and thinking. And the viruses that innocently get downloaded into our operating system, we will shake that you can, just by holding still, see that thinking, when we get caught up in that thought-based reality, for what it is. It's a program. And at any time, you are one thought away from reinstalling a new program of hope, of resilience, of discovering the who and what you are is beneath our thinking in that quiet space. Once we see that we all live in separate realities, that some of the thought programs that are wonderful, right? Not all thought is bad. Not all insecure thought is bad, because sometimes insecure makes us see that we are so much bigger than our thinking, that we're just caught up in the moment, that maybe we need to take a little bit more from the hope basket of thinking, the hope program, or floppy disk, I call it, or the resilience floppy disk, and install that into our operating system. It doesn't take any action. It just takes seeing. And the more we see the thought viruses, those viruses will eventually move through us, and that maybe they'll cause us a little bit of anxiety or cause us a little bit of heartache, but it's not permanent. The virus will end up disappearing, just like it always does, just like thought always does. And new and fresh thinking always comes into us 100% of the time. That is a truth, just like gravity, just like the sun always coming up and always setting, that there's really a level to which we can be discerning on when we are feeling it, caught up in our anxious and overwhelmed viral programs that are running in the background, and just seeing it as up. I got another virus, and I know how to pull up Norton antivirus. So those of you remember, or McAfee antivirus on our laptops, that we have a built-in Norton antivirus that automatically clears those old programs, those old viruses of thought and thinking that are really disrupting our peace of mind. And that within minutes or hours, we'll be onto a whole new chain of thinking, probably calmer, probably more hopeful, that all you have to do is just hold on, sit in your cubicle, sit in your car, put on a piece of music, and just wait till the new fresh thinking comes through. And then the good times roll. Hope this has been helpful. It is really an honor to be here for you guys. And one of the highlights of my week are doing these episodes for you. But these episodes don't come free. I have to do all the editing, and I do hire someone to do all the editing for these episodes. So if you like this episode, if you like this podcast, you like what it represents, how it's been helpful for you, please share it with your friends. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell them to do the same thing. And then they can share it with their friends, and they can share it with their friends, and so on and so on. And please also share this podcast for someone who really needs it, who's really stuck right now. Because the more I can be helpful to you guys, the more this podcast can be helpful to people who really need it as well. Hope you've enjoyed this podcast. I look forward to seeing all of you guys next week on another episode of The Fearless Now.